Welcome to the National Real Estate Post. I'm your host, Frank Gray. Happy Friday to all of you. What's that song, Barry?
Friday, I'm in Love by The Cure. That's a great song for a Friday.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, it is, baby. Well, right now, Barry's in Sacramento. This is pre-recorded, and he's on his way to San Diego. He's, very, very busy. Very busy. But he knew he had a big interview with NREP, so he squeezed it in, even from the hotel room, which we really appreciate, man.
I love you, Pat. You know that. You know that.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to remind everybody too, loan officers, try working FSBOs. It's incredibly lucrative. You wind up getting the seller right away, getting his deal, and then half the time you can wind up passing that seller over to a real estate agent to list their home. Anyway, Listing Booster has the complete program, soup to nuts. It's got all the technology, all the marketing pieces, all the scripts. Super easy, very lucrative. Click the banner you see on your screen over on your right, or just look down. It should be there, or there's a link around here in social media somewhere. FSBOs for MLOs.
Look, we all know that what's going on with fintech, right? And one of the things that they're doing is they're taking over some market share from realtors, and it's that battle is kind of just beginning. So we're not insulated. If real estate agents start to lose some ground here, and there are referrals, with Listing Booster is a really great thing to do.
Yep, totally. So let's go ahead and dive in for everybody here, get them on their way this Friday. I was hoping we could talk a little bit about rates and what do you think the big catalyst for rates right now is, and then maybe talk a little bit about housing going forward, what your thoughts are, if you can lay something on us.
Yeah, I want to tell you a little bit about what I think. I've been a big fan of housing for a long time, kind of like really the lone voice, but as it turns out, we've been doing really well with housing. So our forecasts have been very accurate there. And we're going to continue to see a lot of promise in housing. I'm going to show you some charts of that. But first, about rates. So rates have been really hanging in there. Considering everything that's happened, see the 10-year Treasury still in the 170s, that's great. Now, mortgages are based on mortgage-backed securities, but the 10-year works as a nice proxy because everybody can see it. It's easy. So a couple of benchmarks here. 176, which we just broke underneath, that's a big level. That was the 100-day moving average. But then there's a couple of other levels that we're trying to get underneath. If we get down below 174, 173, that would be a good indicator that you'll see a move lower, maybe towards 160 on the 10-year. And that would give you some nice relief. You'll probably see interest rates at least an eighth, maybe 0.25% in rate, cheaper than where you are now. So that could be a very good thing. And the catalyst is going to be the stock market.
Okay.
Stocks and bonds, they compete for the same investment dollar, Frank. We know that.
Right.
And the stock market has been on fire, up 20% in the last 3 months alone. That's enormous. It's really an enormous move. So it's due for a pullback. I'm not saying that the stock market runs out of steam. There will be another leg higher probably, but naturally the stock market would pull back, consolidate a little bit, and that's going to mean a great opportunity for us with lower rates. How low? Like I said, maybe an eighth, maybe a quarter lower. Who knows? If it's a prolonged downward move in the stock market, you'll get some better rates. But this is really coming. And a big catalyst for the reason why stocks have been doing so well is because the hush-hush influx of money by the Fed. The Fed's got to monetize our debt because foreigners are now net sellers. So the Fed's been buying $100 billion a month of one-year Treasury bills. That's very short-term maturity, 3 months or 1 year. Maturity of a year or less bills. That's what they're buying. I want to show you some charts on all this, okay?
Sure.
It really helps to illustrate it, and we can see it. So let's share the screen. Okay, and what you see here, man, is you see these two lines. The white line is the Fed. So this is the Fed pumping money in, pumping money in, pumping money in over the last few months. And the orange line is the S&P 500. That's a very good representation. It's about 80% of the stock market's value in just these 500 companies. It's 10,000 companies. These 500 represent 80% of the value. So it shows you how important the market caps are here. But look at the correlation.
Yeah.
You rarely see a correlation like this. Meaning, now, the Dallas Fed president has already said that he is concerned about the size of the Fed's balance sheet, now approaching $4.5 trillion, and thinks we should pull the plug. When we do, I think the stock market really gets a good correction here, and I think rates decline because money will come out of the stock market and into the bond market. Now, a couple of things, Frank. I told you before we started, I wanted to talk a little bit about some future ways to see how the market's doing and things that we try to look at into the future. So I want to take you kind of behind the curtain here and show you some of the things that we look at here. So the first one that I want to talk with you about is inventory levels. So some crazy people think that there could be a housing bubble, but you need inventory, a massive amount of inventory for a bubble situation.
Okay.
So a bubble would mean that you have too much product and not enough buyers and prices fall. what you see here is the exact opposite. We are at record low inventory levels. In fact, the lowest level of inventory ever recorded. So you can't have a bubble when you're like this. You know, when you have a bubble like you did here in 2007, 2007, 86, 87, we're nowhere near those levels. These are the things that we have to explain to our customers. We're just being told this bad information. Now, when we take a look here, we see that the age that people are getting married, and this is important, is taking longer. 30 years old. It was not uncommon to be getting married when you were 20 back in the 90s. Now, 30 years old. So what does that mean? The next step is oftentimes having children. Getting married, having children doesn't happen for everyone, but it's certainly common to see that.
Right.
And why is that so important? Because having a child is the biggest driver of the housing market.
Yeah.
The biggest driver.
You need more space. You got to get the kids. Yeah.
So, and it's not even the kids. It's just that first child. And here's what I mean. Take 30 to 39-year-olds. These are millennials.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have a child, the home ownership rate's 38%. But that first child that you have, it goes to 80%. And frankly, 82% if you have more than one child. So what does that mean? It's not a big jump. You don't have to wait for 6 kids in a minivan to buy a home. It's that first child. So what's some early indicators that we're going to see that here? Some Google search terms. So wedding registry. As you can see in 2008, not as popular. Started to get popular in 2012, and so did the housing market. And you can see now much more popular. But the real key, as we know, as we just saw, to buy a home is babies. In 2008, not a lot of people having babies.
Okay.
It started to improve in 2012, but look at it now, on fire. And that is why people, why are you searching baby registries? Not to name your car, okay? You're doing that because you're gonna have a baby. And if you're gonna have a baby, you're gonna buy a home. So this is really critical. Now, I want to show you this. This is the Google search term of homes for sale. Look at where we were in 2004, and you can see it has steadily been improving, but look at where we are now.
Wow.
This is the highest level we have seen. So even when you take a look from 2018 to 2020, the beginning of 2020, we are at the highest levels. So we are in for a great spring. We are in for a great summer. It's going to be like the summer of George. Remember on Seinfeld? Well, this is your spring and summer. This is going to be a hot market. And in fact, it has started early. This year, activity is beginning even earlier. It's going to be a great year. We've talked about this before, household formations. It kind of goes along the lines of what we talked about. There are more in blue households being formed than builders are putting up, and that is causing a big squeeze. And we've shown this chart before. About 6 or 8 months ago, brother, we did this, but it's worth mentioning again because it's in line. The first-time homebuyer median age, according to Zillow, is 33. They were born here 33 years ago. Look at this. Over the next 6 years, that's going to go up, 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 up. And to confirm this thought, the housing bubble, 2006, 33 years before that was 1973, the year that abortion became legal. And that's what 33 years later contributed in very large part to the housing bubble.
Wow.
Why? Because I showed here, builders are putting up homes like crazy, but this is the hand in glove. You can see 2006, 2007, the drop off because of the abortions 33 years before that became legalized. And then in order to juice this imbalance, you had all these crazy products that were out there, 100 LTV, 580 FICO score, no income, no asset, no job, just breathe and you got a mortgage, right? So this is the type of stuff that is very important for us to kind of understand and work through.
That is so awesome, dude. That is the best ever. I love that presentation today. You guys, I'm sure you can make big time use of this. Thank you, Barry, for showing that. And I know that this is a good video that you guys can share even with your customers, with your realtor partners, if you're a loan officer, et cetera. That was really fascinating. I love how you can take something that you would think would just be purely, stocks, bonds, that type of numbers. And no, you're talking about household formations and, when things occurred in our history and our timeline. And it just makes so much sense. And it's so clear. The lack of inventory is definitely a big deal right now. You're absolutely right. And let's be honest, extremely low interest rates, lack of inventory, everything points to just a red hot summer. That is really cool. Thank you so much.
Brother, those Google search terms, really great, reliable, early
incredible.
Because that's what people are, that's what's trending. The trend of Google search terms is really important for us to watch. And, I'd use the summer of George kind of jokingly, but really this is your time because think about it. You've got everything. You said it, hot housing market, low interest rates, and here's one people don't think about, but it's so important. People have equity in their homes because of appreciation, and that means they have money to move up, or for you to do debt consolidation, pull that cash out, help them take the savings, apply it towards the payment, and reduce the terms of their mortgages. There's so much good that you can do to help people.
Friday, I'm in love.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, brother.
That outro. Love you, man.
All right, you too. Hey, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Do us a favor, forward the show, share it with people, start a Facebook conversation, leave your comments down below. Subscribe for free if you're meeting us in the upper right-hand corner of the show. We'll catch you guys here later at the National Real Estate Post. Catch you later, Barry.
Thanks, man.
Bye.